Shalom everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pod for Israel. My name is Dr. Erez Soref, and I have here with me in the studio Dr. Golan Broshi. Hi,
Shalom,
Golan.
shalom.
And in the recent weeks, the social networks and the internet were flooded, absolutely flooded, particularly before Christmas, with videos and texts that are stating that Yeshua, Jesus, was not at all Jewish, but he was a proud Palestinian. And moreover than that, the state of Israel is doing an absolute genocide to the Palestinian people. So we wanted to talk about that a little bit. What do you think, Golan?
You know, I almost thought that I was dreaming when I saw the picture of Yeshua coming today with the, I don't know how you call it, kafia, the kafia and a rifle, as if he was here today, he would fight against his Jewish people.
So Yeshua is a Palestinian liberation theologian that's fighting the state of Israel.
He's a freedom fighter who would fight with the Hamas against Israel, according to the to some of the pictures. This is amazing.
It is, and we've seen some what seems to be religious leaders from the established churches, people that claim to be Palestinians, that are trying to use different manipulations, emotional manipulations, to blame Israel in murdering innocent people in the Gaza Strip. Really, they're using the word genocide over and over and over again. Did you see those videos? What kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, and so I have several things to that, but apparently we are identified as the white man, right? The white man that is colonial.
That's right.
Right? And
he was saying, "Oh, no one's going to listen to us because of the color of our skin."
Yeah, so I wonder if he ever been to Israel and saw the color of our skin, because I don't remember being so white.
Well, I think you and I are actually much darker than some of those speakers.
And it's good to mention that I think Jewish people come in every size and color and shape, right?
That's right.
So to claim any racism in that sense is crazy, absolutely crazy. But the claim for genocide.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit.
That's so sad.
So give our listeners a bit of a context. I mean,
so we remember the brutal attack by Hamas that took place on the 7th of October, this deadly day that we compare to the Holocaust. Yeah. And what's amazing that if we speak about genocide, they were butchering Jews for only one reason.
In their own homes, yeah.
In their homes, for being Jewish. And we're talking about, sorry if there's kids listening, but we're talking about babies, women, Holocaust survivors, just for one reason, for being Jewish. And the irony is that most of the people surrounding the Gaza Strip are liberal Jews. Right. Liberal Jews that would support
That's right.
the causes of the Arabs in Gaza. And they were the first to be butchered.
Right.
So if we talk about genocide, I think we need to see who did the genocide and who wants to do the genocide, because one of their spokesmen, the spokesman of Hamas,
when they talk about genocide, they look at the intent.
And I think the intention, one of the spokesmen of Hamas said, we want to triple the 7th of October. If we could, we want to double it and triple it. So if talking about genocide, I think the accusation should go to the other side.
Yeah, and I think as nations around, or people around the world are looking at what's going on, you have to remember there's 1,400 people that were brutally, inhumanely murdered. I mean, I'm not going to mention the atrocities that were done before some of them were murdered.
And kidnapping
more than 300 innocent Israelis as hostages held in inhumane conditions. Civilians, and they're not allowed access to the Red Cross. There were only more than 5,000 missiles shot on Israel. So I'm asking people, what state would tolerate that kind of a thing towards its citizens?
And by the way, most of the missiles, if not all of them, are targeted on civilians.
That's right.
On civilians, not army bases. So why would they want to shoot civilians if not to kill innocent Jewish people? Yeah. And now we need to ask, what about the IDF? And sadly, every day we hear about soldiers that are being killed. IDF soldiers, why are they being killed if Israel just wants to do genocide?
Just wipe them out. So let's talk about that specifically. Does Israel truly murder innocent people intentionally in the Gaza Strip? Now, both you and I have been to the IDF, our children, many of our employees and students. So is that the spirit of the idea? Is that really what's going on?
So of course it's not. And if if Israel wanted to commit genocide, God forbid, everybody knows the power that the IDF has. It could have taken a few minutes to do genocide.
Accomplish that,
to accomplish genocide. So obviously Israel is not trying to do that. And by the way, remember, the fact that the soldiers are dying is because they're going house from house to catch terrorists.
And going out of their way to not to hurt civilians, putting themselves in a line of fire.
Exactly. And even in the Israeli society, there's a debate of why do you send the soldiers house by house in Gaza? Why not
Just
try to
wipe it
bomb
out.
from air?
Yeah.
There's a debate in the Israeli society. So, of course, if this is crazy.
Now, the definition of genocide, and I think it's worth mentioning, is an intentional destruction of a group of people due to their national, ethnic, racial, or religious membership and identity. Okay, so the real question is that what Israel is doing? And are we killing the innocent intentionally and indiscriminately?
The only target, and these are the targets of the war by the Prime Minister, by the Minister of the targets are to wipe out the Hamas terrorist organization, to wipe out the Hamas and free the hostages. This is the objectives of the war. Right. To wipe out the Hamas terrorist organization and to free the hostages. So, nothing else but that.
I think the State of Israel emphasizes over and over again, this is not a war against the Palestinian people, but against the evil regime of Hamas.
And praise the Lord, there's brave Arab citizens in Gaza that are screaming for help, for Israel. Help us free Gaza from Hamas.
Palestinians that are coming on camera.
On camera, endangering their lives. And by the way, I think we all saw that when Israel called the Arabs in northern Gaza to move south, Israel had to protect them from Hamas. Hamas wouldn't let them leave their houses because they need them as the body, as the human shield. So again, all this nonsense of genocide, as if Israel wanted to commit that, come on, are you serious?
Of course, I agree, and I think that this is absolutely false. Now, however, and I think that's something that is a big internal debate in Israel, and I think internationally as well, there's no question there's a lot of suffering in Gaza. So kids are not going to school, people can't go to their work. I think 1.8 million people evacuated from their homes and are leaving as internally displaced people, refugees in the south of the Gaza Strip. So there's a lot of suffering.
And the question is, who's to blame?
And I think that's the key. So is it all Israel's fault? Is Israel doing it out of spite? I mean, out of desire to cause suffering? Why is it happening?
I think the answer comes from the Arabs in Gaza that are now, many of them are realizing that it's Hamas' fault, that they're taking hostage by Hamas. So think of the irony. There's Jewish hostages in Gaza and there's Arab hostages. The population the Gazan people are taken hostage by Hamas. So we want to liberate Gaza. We want to liberate Gaza from this terror organization. And by the way, we talked about 1,400 murdered in Israel by Hamas. We have to remember, it's not only Jewish people. It's also Bedouins, Jewish Arabs, and Druze. Now, the Druze are fighting in Gaza for Israel. But Bedouins, which are Muslims, were also butchered. And not to talk about foreign workers in Israel that were also. So again, Hamas...
The people from Thailand, I mean, they were workers. I mean, they're not Jews, they're not Israelis, they're not anything.
It just shows you the brutality that they don't care. They just want to kill, just want to destroy.
So definitely, I think from an objective perspective, the discussion about genocide is completely skewed, is absolute lie. Also online and social networks and so on, there are messages from people that claim to be, religious leaders that say that Israel is a colonialist power in the region. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so this guy, he even says the world can be divided into two groups, oppressors and oppressed. And obviously, he says, all of us know that Israel is the oppressed, the oppressors.
Right. The history of the last 2,000 years show that the Jews are the oppressors, right?
Now, try to find Israel on the map. If we're colonialists, we're doing a really lousy job, because even what we have they want to divide it. But we have to ask ourselves, is radical Islam colonialists?
So let's talk a little bit about Islamic theology.
Yes, Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood, and ISIS. Didn't they talk about the Muslim state?
Oh, absolutely.
And the Muslim state,
which is global. I mean,
exactly.
That's
And it doesn't go only in the Middle East. I think they aspire to conquer back. They say conquer back Europe. And even the U.S.
the United States,
as what they say,
question.
a quiet jihad. So there's the militant jihad with ISIS, and there's the quiet jihad with immigrants, Muslim immigrants in Europe and America. So to claim that the Jews are colonialist, that's ironic that it comes from a Muslim party. You know what I mean?
Because their theology, and I think that's a lot of people don't understand that, theologically speaking, Islam is viewed in the eyes of Muslim and in the Quran that as a religion that should be global.
Exactly.
And anyone not accepting it needs to be eradicated.
So I think if they want to target Israel as being colonialist, I think they should look in the mirror first. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now, I think the state of Israel and many Israelis want to help the rebuild of the Gaza Strip when time comes, after we remove,
of course,
Hamas. But I want to go back, Golan, if that's okay. I want to go back just a little bit to all those videos that are talking about Jesus the Palestinian. And, there was one particular video in a satire show that showed how Joseph and Mary and baby Jesus are in Bethlehem, and then a group of wise men from the West came from Berkeley University and told them that they're not Jews because there are no Jews, but they're Palestinians.
Jews will only come to this land 1,948 years from now.
As a colonialist power.
Oh, I see someone's been listening this semester.
True.
What do you mean? We are Jews.
No, you're not.
So what are we?
You are Palestinians, of course.
Yeah, and in the end of the clip, they're saying, so wait, so who killed Jesus? Who killed Yeshua? Not the Jews, right? Because there are no Jews. And the professor is saying, no, you have to study more. You have to come take another semester. You didn't get it. And they stop.
Wait a minute. Our baby will be the king of the Palestinians?
Exactly. Too bad he'll be dead at a very young age because he'll be murdered by the Jews.
Oh, my God.
Excuse me, Professor. So there are Jews living here?
No. Only Palestinians.
Oh, so the Palestinians will kill Jesus?
No Palestinian would ever hurt anyone. Never. Especially not Hamas.
Wait, I don't understand.
Okay, guys, this is exactly what our next class is about, all right?
Oh.
How did the Jews kill Jesus without even existing? It's going to be fun, all right? Don't worry about it.
It's so worth 54 grand a year in tuition.
Right?
Kidding.
So there are no Jews because they're all Palestinians, but the Jews still murdered
Of course,
Jesus.
because we need anti-Semitism, right? We need the Jews so they can be an objective for anti-Semitism.
And I think, as we see these phenomenon in social networks, I think that's a place where true followers of Jesus need to stand up. And it needs to be very, very clear. Jesus is Jewish. His first disciples are Jewish. And he died on the cross for the sins of the entire world, including the Palestinian people.
Amen.
That deserve to live in dignity. There's no question about that. But I think claiming that Jesus is Palestinian and is a liberation theologian fighting for the Palestinians is an absolute twist of the scriptures.
But look at our God, how wonderful God is, because it was all over the social media and in Israel. Jewish people
That's
saw
right.
that. And God, what Satan meant for bad, God meant for good. And now what we see in Israel is that many Israelis are claiming the Jewishness of Yeshua, and they're saying, Israelis. I mean, we're not talking about followers of Yeshua. We're talking about...
So unbelieving Jewish Israelis are saying in social networks, no, he is Jewish. Jesus is Jewish.
This is what we in One for Israel are saying for years.
We've tried to tell you that all those years.
And now they're saying they're reclaiming Yeshua as a Jewish man.
So give us some examples for that.
So, and this is amazing. A figure which is really a known figure. I don't know if I can mention his name.
A well-known journalist.
Religious, not a follower of Yeshua, as far as we know.
Orthodox Jew, yeah.
Religious from the right wing. He writes in the newspaper. He's an anchor in a well-known channel, and he wrote as a reaction to the Palestinian Jesus. He wrote, historically, Yeshua was born and he lived as a Jew. Now he's reclaiming Yeshua.
Yeah, that's right.
His whole mission wasn't to abolish the Torah, but to fulfill it. Yeah? He doesn't have anything with anti-Semitism and pogrom.
That's right.
Yeah?
That's right.
And he says he observed the Torah. He was a good Jew, a religious.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think these are some of the, war is terrible on all accounts, but even through those bad circumstances, good things can happen. And I think there's more awareness of the fact that believers in Jesus are Israel's only friends. When there's so much so many people standing against Israel, and there was another interesting example.
It's amazing that the Jewish people are rediscovering Yeshua. I think we got it as a WhatsApp message. Non-Messianic
female soldiers
are singing a Messianic song, a really known Messianic song, all together screaming from the top of their lungs.
אתה מרים אותי גבוה מכל הקשיים, אני סמוך ובטוח בזרועותיך אלוהים. אתה מרים אותי גבוה, לא משנה מה שהיה, הניצחון כבר בידיך.
And I think the soldier that wrote the song is actually her brother.
He serves with us, yeah.
Yeah, he serves with us. This is, I think, the first time I see female soldiers that are singing a Messianic song literally before they go to battle. That's amazing.
Amazing. So maybe last thing to mention for this podcast is that I think Israelis and Jews worldwide were absolutely shocked to see the amazing, unparalleled wave of anti-Semitism, hatred towards not only the state of Israel, but the Jews. And, when we see it in the larger society, of course, it's very, very painful. But what do we see in the church? And
I think the sad part is, and we want to ask the question, is there a connection between anti-Semitism and replacement theology? Because sometimes they go together, right?
So we want to talk about that in our next podcast. But thank you for being with us. Thank you for praying for us. We encourage you to stand for the truth, for wherever you are, the truth of the Bible, the truth of Scripture. And we wish you blessings and strength. God bless you. Shalom.